All right, welcome back to Speak Up for Julian, episode 11, part 2. So I wanted to separate this out from the concert stuff because honestly, if you really care about the school board stuff, you probably want a bit of a deeper dive than the teaser I gave. And if you don't want the school board stuff, well, then you probably wanted to see the concert stuff. And that's why I tried to keep that a little bit separate. Eventually, I'm going to try to merge these two, but right now I'm going to try to keep them audience centered. So the big thing is that this episode is going to be a breakdown of what happened at the school board meeting this past Monday, April 14th, and the folks that we had there speaking up for all of them, and my interactions with them, which I'll be honest, were not my best performances because I kind of lost my temper a little bit. But I think that if you kind of know what's going on with this, you'll probably give me a little bit of grace. So let's go ahead and watch those significant moments at the school board meeting. And I will break down each of them a little bit before, and then we'll discuss after what this means. All right, so I tried to set the tone a little bit at the meeting. The big thing is, of course, I've been doing this for quite a while. I've gotten no response from the school. They don't return my emails, phone calls. They won't be seen in public with me, whatever. So I was asking them if, hey, can we actually have a conversation now and do that properly? We're going to have to bend the rules a little. I know I kind of lost my temper a little bit, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that you'll understand. Go ahead and watch my first attempt. It's about a minute long.
So concerning agenda items, I would like to talk about the superintendent's report, which has nothing following up about the comments about school bullying a little while ago. But do we really have to play this game right now? Do I have to wait to the end of this meeting before I can say what I need to say? Do we really have to limit me to my 3 minutes? I've been here 3 minutes every single time since November, disrespected repeatedly, snubbed off. Do we have to play this game, or will you let me speak? Is there anyone up on this board that actually has a heart, not listening to a lawyer, that will let me say what I need to say? Or am I still stuck to 2 minutes and 22 seconds and you all just staring at me? Can I talk about school bullying? Can I talk about teen suicide?
Mr. Brocker, if you would like to speak on a non-agenda item, you may speak at the end of the meeting under non-agenda items. Thank you.
I will be back up in a little bit for a continuation of this game.
So in the simplest way to put it, that was my question and that was their answer. All right, I'm going to set up the first clip of the actual public comment. And this was my father, Joe Rockert, speaking for his grandson, and basically doing it in a way that specifically tasked them with something that I haven't yet tasked them with in so many words. But the thing about this clip that you're going to see, it's actually my video that I took from my seat because the microphone was not working. And rather than let him know that the microphone wasn't working or ask him to hang on a second while they fixed it, they just kind of looked at him and fiddled with a little bit. Now, he was actually projecting enough for everybody in there to hear what he was saying. But if you watch the actual official YouTube video of the board meeting, all you see is him standing there. So, of course, I used my video that has enough audio that you can kind of hear him. And that wasn't quite good enough for all of the captions to pick it up. So, of course, I went through and edited the captions so that they accurately reflect what was said. But go ahead and have a look. Again, I so appreciate my dad being there to do this publicly for all of us.
Thank you. I am here as part of the coalition to speak up with my grandson. Yes, I am facing the spotlight. This isn't my first rodeo either. I was PTA president two different elementary schools in Virginia when I lived there. And we experienced a tragedy there with another student. So I have some experience with this, but this is the first time that it's become personal. And it's not just funny. There are other people involved in this. And I'd like to suggest that the impact, one of the things from my past experience as a PTA president was I prepared a victim impact statement for a tragic loss during one of those years. My son Jason probably was only in second grade, but this involved murder, it involved domestic violence. The one thing that I appreciated about the process there is that I had the ability to present to an official board in reports, asked me to submit a victim impact statement. It's a very powerful tool, and I think that it would behoove this board here to consider we're all victims in a sense. We have all experienced a loss, and I would challenge all of the members here of the board to consider drafting their own victim impact statement. How did this death affect you? How could the school have reacted differently? What can you do to prevent it from happening again? That's the biggest challenge. That's what you really need to consider. And there are so many people who have so many things to say about this. And I could go on and on about the fact that he was my wife's favorite grandchild. You're not supposed to have favorites, but he was. But we have to do something. We have to have answers. We need closure. And I challenge you to ensure that this never happens again. Thank you.
Mr. Byers.
Okay, so you just got to see the 3 minutes from my dad, Joe Brockert. And he brought a slightly different perspective, which was really good. It's similar to the kind of things that I was talking about to the school board a few years ago before it got to where it got to. And the fact that he talked about the victim impact statement was, I think, very timely. So next, you're going to get to see someone who I hold very dear. And I've actually spoken to this school board about their situation previously. What I was trying to do was to keep them from having to stand up and say their names and put themselves in the spotlight, because I know how risky that is. So, Kim, I absolutely love you for this. Mesa does too, obviously.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'd like to share another personal story about bullying in the DD2 school district. My daughter's been a student in DD2 since the end of kindergarten. She's now in 9th grade. When she was in middle school in 7th grade, she was repeatedly assaulted on the school bus by a young man she dated briefly. When she couldn't get him to stop on her own, she decided to take it into her own hands and report directly to her school guidance counselor that this was happening. She was encouraged to sit in the front seat so any future assaults could be recorded on the school bus video. For context, at that time she was my size and about 40 pounds lighter than me, and this young man was about 5'10", 160 pounds. I never got a phone call from the school. In many situations with bullies, it happened again. Again, my daughter brought it to the school. I did not receive a phone call. She came home and finally reported everything that had been happening to me, and her father and I instantly called the police to start making a statement. We were referred to follow up with the SRO since the school bus is school district property, regardless of where it's physically located. There was pushback from that, but I insisted on a documentation being made in the school files, because if this repeated, either with my daughter or someone else, I wanted there to be a paper trail. Still not in my daughter's school records. Requested the full file. There's no conversations documented, not even the very heated conversation that I had when I was told that my daughter had claimed she didn't want to press charges at age 13. So hopefully hearing another personal statement will help us understand we need more attention to this issue. I'm glad to hear that we're looking at research-based evidence, because that's what should be guiding us in providing the best services for our kids. What I know now is that the zero tolerance policy is not being followed. More work needs to be done. More kids need to feel safe at school. Fortunately, I'm just dealing with PTSD with my daughter. I haven't experienced her death. We need to do better. And I look forward, I understand you can't respond to comments here, but I'm looking for some follow-up, because I know this is an issue that's been brought time and time again. And I haven't heard any dialogue in the meetings that I've viewed from home about how the
Yes, unfortunately, they were experiencing some microphone difficulties.
just looking for follow-up on the issues that are facing our kids. They can't learn in school if they don't feel safe, and they can't learn in school if they're not.
Thank you, Ms. Sweeney.
All right. So, Kim, again, thank you so much for that. I know how hard that was. Trust me, I do. So, that's somebody coming up to tell their own story, even after they've had a representative come forward and tell their story for them, because their story would not be heard. Again, it's not that I haven't been doing this for a while. So here in a second, I'm going to show you my second go round with the school board that night. And yeah, I got a little bit more ornery, and I will defend everything I said as well. I've always said honesty and transparency. And even if I got a little belligerent, I will absolutely defend what I said. In this instance, I've already reviewed it. So here in a second, we'll see what that has. All right, so here's my second go around at the microphone in the same night, which of course I was already a little perturbed about, having been seated and having to play the game. So of course I'm playing their game, and yes, I can say whatever I want so long as I'm being some modicum of respectful. And yeah, I kind of hit right on the edge of that when one of the particular school board members was absolutely shaking her head at me in disagreement that I am not there to do anything good, that I am there because of something that she disagrees with, that I represent something that she does not like. Yes, I called her out directly, and I will call her out directly every single time until she admits, and then forgiveness can happen. So anyway, go ahead and watch my 3 minutes at the end of the meeting. I'm sorry, that was a 1-minute introduction. Here you go. Just testing the microphone because it wasn't working. Thank you. So I had to wait an hour to come back up here. More specifically, I've had to wait
over 5 months since I first came back up here after I got enough over my own PTSD so that I could come here and not actually lose my temper. I have been respectful. You have not been respectful. I don't get the time of day from you. This is from Julian's website. I've got a lot of activity on Julian's website since Saturday night. I was able to share the stage in Charlotte in front of approximately 17,000 people and tell Julian's story. But you won't hear me. I'm down to 2 minutes and 18 something seconds, so I'm sitting here flustered trying to get to my notes to say that, I find it extremely disturbing and the penultimate disrespect that I've been categorically ignored after losing my son to suicide following years of reported bullying incidents in this district, which are inarguably unresolved. So, am I supposed to read from my notes so I can fit it into my time limit, or do you actually want to hear what I have to say? I absolutely feel that you do not want to hear what I want to have to say. I have been up here repeatedly, and as a board, you were supposed to take comments and then, as a board, respond to them. 5 months. It's been almost a year since I lost my son. It's been almost a year since Lisa lost her son. It's been almost a year since my dad lost his grandson. I have been speaking about this. I've started a podcast. Every single 3-minute little bit of morsel that I get up here that you won't do a thing about, I've put it on there, out to the world. I've said that I am transparent. You are not. I am transparent. You are not. You started with a prayer and you said, "Give us the courage." I don't see courage here. I have asked, will you hear me more than my 1 minute and 1 second that I have left? Not a single one of you even makes a motion to, can we please hear what he has to say? Galatians 6:9, what a hypocrite. Your God has a different view of the world. God's work? Please. You're shaking your head at me disrespectfully, as you have before. I can do that too. That's the only response I get from y'all. I'm standing here in front of you today. I have stood here in front of you for years, speaking about respecting other people, speaking about. Now, speak up for Julian. Speak up for all of them. Quite literally, on my way home a couple of weeks ago, a 10-year-old in Roanoke committed suicide after being bullied at the school, and their parents went to the school board, and guess what happened? What would have happened had I been here in June when I asked if somebody would speak about mental health and suicide, and he declined. Respect?
Thank you, Mr. Brockert.
What a
Yeah, okay. So the Galatians comment, there was a piece of paper hanging on her monitor, and that just absolutely got under my skin. So I will again defend that. I said some things that were a little unfiltered, but considering that I have not gone off the handle with profanity or absolute slander, I think I'm still pretty well on the mark. Anyway, at the end of that, one of the school board members came out to meet our group and speak to us. I'm not going to go into what that does or doesn't mean because I'm not sure why it happened this past Monday, and it didn't happen months ago or almost a year ago. But it happened. So we'll see where this goes. All right. So at the end of this, what does all this mean? Okay. So the weirdest thing ever happened on Saturday, April 12th, that ended up landing me on stage at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, raising these horns with this 988 on them and talking to an entire crowd of thousands about reaching out if you need help. Okay, that was a phenomenal experience. I cannot I cannot overstate how important I think that was, and how a simple 40-cent guitar pick helped make that happen. So all of these that we're doing, that's what makes all of this important. So what does this all mean? We just had this school board meeting again without me reaching out to somebody. Somebody reached out to me to ask about doing a news interview. So there will be another news interview tonight. Sorry, it is Wednesday. So this podcast is going to go out Thursday. I still need to do quality assurance, and quite honestly, the Descript program has been giving me fits today, so I'm going to have to try to fix a few things. But anyway, if you watched all the way to this point and you've seen the Disturbed video and you've watched these school board minutes and you know where we're going with this, please do what you can to help this keep momentum. This is for all of the ones that we've lost. It's for all the ones we don't want to lose. So let's keep this going. Let's let them know that they need to do what they say they do. Let our government know that they need to be funded to do what they say they're going to do, because they cannot do it without resources. Let our teachers know that they are valued and appreciated because they don't choose this job for the money. Let's see what kind of changes we can make, okay? It's never goodbye. It's just till next time. Love above all.